It is an absolutely mega weekend of rugby almost upon us, and the teams have just been announced for the Bulls against Glasgow in the URC final. So I'm going to, with a fresh pair of eyes, take a look at that final, look at the selections, make a combined team and see where the balance of power lies and ultimately where I think the game might go. Your thoughts in the comments down below. I say it's a mad weekend of rugby. Top 14 semi-final tonight. England v Japan in the morning. Super Rugby final. Wales v South Africa. Fiji v Barbarians. URC final. Other top 14 semi-final. I'm going to be busy tomorrow. Maybe it's a good thing that I didn't move my flight from Monday when I travelled to South Africa. I'll be out there covering Ireland v South Africa tests to today. I thought about maybe getting to the URC final, but I wouldn't have been able to watch the rest of the rugby. So maybe it's for the best. I am a bit gutted though, I have to say, that I am missing out on that because it looks like being a hell of an event and a fitting finale to what has been a fantastic URC season. Two excellent teams in the final, really well matched. The Bulls against Glasgow. How big an impact will home advantage, will altitude be? We saw the impact it had on Leinster last week. Their players were not used to travelling out to South Africa. In fact, I think it was only Cian Healy had ever played at Loftus Versfeld before, which is nuts. But Glasgow, they've got more experience. They did send a strong team out to South Africa. Didn't get the results they wanted, but they've got that valuable experience in the bank. I'm fascinated to know what impact that's going to have. But well done to everyone involved, and especially to any Glasgow fans that are making the trip. It's mad to think that 5,000 Munster fans went out last year when they won the tournament to South Africa, and that is no small feat to get yourselves out there at a week's notice. So well played. As for the teams, bring it on. I mean, as soon as you saw the team sheet, you double take. Is that Curtly Arendse? What? He's back. And then, of course, that's balanced by the fact you then look, no Willie le Roux, as was expected. Here's a question. If you could have only one of Curtly Arendse or Willie le Roux in your team, which one would you go for? You've got the butcher looking to slice and dice Glasgow's defence. And you have to say, based on what I've seen this season, Curtly Arendse and Damien Penaud, the two best wingers in world rugby. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. Yeah, even over and above Cheslin Colby. They are the two best. This guy is absolutely different class. But in this Bulls team, Willie le Roux is so important. The game he had last week against Leinster, I know Cameron Hanekom got man of the match and he was absolutely immense. Continues in the number 8 jersey today, and that fight with him and Evan Ruiz for the Springbok shirt is going to be one to watch. And Cameron Hanekom's got a really good opportunity to lay down another marker. Last week almost against an Irish team. This week, almost against a Scottish pack. So definitely one to watch there. But it's just the way that Willie le Roux operates with Johan Huijsen in that double pivot playmaker role. Little dinky kicks here and there was absolutely instrumental to them beating Leinster. Tactically, Jake White's a smart cookie, so I'm sure he'll flip things around. But it looks to me like the playmaking is much more on Johan Huijsen's shoulders without Willie le Roux. Devon Williams, decent player. He's not Willie le Roux, though. This is a controversial statement, having said everything I've said about Curtly Arendse, who is incredible. One of the two best wingers in the world right now, in my humble opinion. But if I had to pick one of those two players, I'd pick Willie le Roux. He's a big, big miss for the Bulls, isn't he? That said, look how much talent there is. The pack, unchanged and is outstanding. The players off the bench look really, really good. The back line, it's robust, it's good. It's massively improved by Curtly Arendse on the wing. But they are missing Willie le Roux. I think that's a net loss for the Bulls overall, but not by a lot because Arendse is that good. Tell me what you think. In the comments down below. While you're there, give the video a thumbs up. Help me spread the word about this amazing competition as we look over to Glasgow, who last week, here's a fact for you, last week Glasgow named the same 15 for the first time in back-to-back games in 5 years. They've always had at least one change game to game until last week. They're now going 3 games in a row, completely unchanged 15. 2 changes that there are come on the bench, where Nathan Macbeth is back from an HIA injury that he got in that game against the Stormers. So they've actually improved the situation with their forwards coming off the bench. And the other change is Duncan Weir is one of the back replacements with Jamie Doby in a 6-2 split. Duncan Weir, who actually did quite well against the Bulls recently. Stafford McDowell might feel unlucky. I mean, I feel sorry for him. He's had a brilliant season. Unfortunately, injury came for him at the wrong time, and he's not done enough to get back into the 23, which Glasgow are in good form, and selection-wise, they're arguably slightly better than they were last week. So, and they went to a hostile Munster and came away with a win. It's a very different proposition, though, isn't it? Going to Loftus Versfeld, the dry air, the thin air. Your lungs aren't used to it, and they've had to travel this week and shake that off. And I mean, the players, when they've been asked about the travelling and stuff, they've played it down and said it's no big deal, it's fine. And the fact that this squad have done it recently, they're used to it, but it is a massive challenge against a hostile, completely sold out Loftus. But that said, these are international players. It's a very special one as well, isn't it, for Kyle Steyn, for Hugh Jones, both with history in South Africa. But for the pack, as I mentioned, that is an all-international Scottish pack. And with guys like Max Williamson coming off the bench, they've got some heat that they can bring off the bench. In terms of a combined team, I'd be interested to know what you think. So I've taken the 23 men for the Bulls, the 23 men for Glasgow. I did this at the start of the week before the teams have been announced. But now that the teams have actually been announced, what do you think of that? That's what I've gone with. And the instant thing you think, 2 Glasgow players in the pack, otherwise all Bulls. 2 Bulls in the backs, otherwise all Glasgow. That doesn't tell the whole story, does it? Because there's lots of very, very good Bulls backline players. David Creel looks like he could be in the mix with the Springboks. He's definitely had a fantastic season. So him and Hugh Jones, that might be a bit of a coin flip. And Elrich Lowe in the back row, coin flip with Rory Darge. But then again, you look at the pack and you say, well, Xander Fagerson's had a fantastic season at tight head prop. Vilko Lowe just ahead of him. And the same goes with other positions. Jack Dempsey's been excellent at number 8. Cameron Hanacon just tips him for me. So I think when you take the bird's eye view, you say, well, there's 7 Glasgow players and 8 Bulls, and the bench, I've got 4 and 4. In terms of personnel, I think Glasgow do have an edge out back, but Bulls do have an edge up front. The important thing for this game is, can Glasgow get enough of a platform that those backs can do the business? And when you look at the backs, how much are the Bulls going to miss Villy LaRue and his playmaking attributes? When you look in the pack, can the Bulls squeeze things on? I could see this very much being scrum penalties, 3, 6, 9, 12, building a score, applying a bit of pressure, and it being very tight and cagey. I think it will be for the first half. I just think there is just players that have a little bit of stardust in the Bulls thing. You can imagine Cameron Hanacom just having some rampaging ball carries, Norkier running the line out, maybe a few really, really important steals when it really matters. And Kurtley Arendse, if he gets a chance, he's a guy that will take it. But I see this one being tight. I see it being really close. And Glasgow have done brilliantly to get here. They've got a shot. I think the home advantage, I think the altitude, and I think a little bit of stardust, and especially an absolutely frightening scrummaging and mauling pack, I think should just bring the Bulls home. But I cannot wait for this one. Your thoughts in the comments down below. Give the video a thumbs up. Hit subscribe on the channel. And keep checking in over the weekend during all the rugby.